Red Bull on the cut. Oh my god! What an amazing race this is! Sergio, your 2022 World Drivers Champion! Welcome from Hungary for today's Grand Prix. David Sergio gains first pole position of the season, box over seeing best in second. Then after that, it's okay ball, the Benedetto, Matthew Hart, Antonio, Rafael Ferrari, Owen Silla, Lucio, and also playing outside there in 10th, his worst qualifying of the season. After that's Chaos Andale, Chris Cornwell, Van Fong, Ultra Pro, and Ravo. The two Ferraris then 15 lap currently Iago, Livery, and Van Horn. Finally on Mark Bradley in 20th place from Spacio Campo and Carlos Sabato with Spike CB and TV Headley on the back row of the grid. So here we are, 9 races done, 7 more to go. The championship gets closer after the last race in Belgium. 5 red lights are on, and we go underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's a good start there for Daniel Bogdasarov as he looks to try and take lead here into the first corner. He does so, he moves straight up into the lead this race for Mercedes, as Sergio will try and fight this one back, and he does so on the inside line to take the lead back off of that Mercedes car. Bogdasarov a lot quicker in the exit, he moves through into the lead, and this is good news for the Mercedes team so far. Benedetto and Finucci fighting for 4th position. Both of them guys on the ultra soft tyres, expected to do well to start this race. However, fighting is going to be very detrimental to them. UK will then P3 as he watches David Sergio and Bogdasarov. But on the race start, Blade Asphalt moving up 2 places. That is good for his recovery drive in this race. Don't know what happened with his pace and quality, but it just was non-existent. As going for a move I saw was one of the silver cars, possibly an Audi. Spike CB getting the penalty on his return back to this grid. Carlos Eduardo down in P23, having an awful season. He moves up there into 22nd place. And on the other hand, his teammate Bogdasarov is leading the way right now for Mercedes Petronas, as Van Horn has got a 5-second time penalty involved in a collision, and he has got damage to his car. 17% it's on now. His car is absolutely wrecked. And also, you may have noticed as well, we got brand new onboard cameras for this race with extended FOV. So now we'll get a greater sense of speed with the onboard cameras, and we can see a lot more around us. So obviously, big positive there. This also applies to our rear camera that we get onto these machines. But yeah, once again, not a good day for the Ferrari team. Van Horn CB now down in the final positions, P23 and P24. Both of them penalties. Spiker has slight damage. Van Horn though, his car is pretty much totaled. He's going to have to come into the pits for repairs, I imagine. As heading on to the 3rd lap of this race, Bogdasarov has maintained his lead, and that is very good for him. He's at the fastest lap of the race as well. Sergio unable to catch on that lap. And Finucci and Benedetto not making any progress. In fact, they've lost time to the top 3, Bogdasarov, Sergio and UK Ball. And for Blade he's also been neutralised. I think everyone in this race has pretty much been neutralised. And Van Horn expectedly coming into the pit lane, waiting to get his penalty served. Bogdasarov fastest in that first sector by a whole 0.3 of a second. The pace is well and truly ramping up for these guys at the top, as they aim to pull away from everyone else. However, it looks like Finucci's managed to finally claw in a bit of time as he gets closer and closer to the hyperdrive of UK Ball. And looking further back is Benedetto trying to get that move on Finucci. And he's going to send it there on the inside line. Finucci didn't really want to give room, but he did give it in the end. The McLaren going for a lovely attempt on that Jaguar, but no move could be made, and Benedetto will stay there down in P4. As Bogdasarov once more sets fast lap as he leads by a whopping 1.2 seconds to David Sergio. He has had an incredibly good lap last time out there. As into the pit lane comes Marcus Adelaide, and I think that's Ocampo as well. Yes, it is. Same with Spiker, who's also into the pits. Serkiera looking to gain some more time back on Bogdasarov. However, it's definitely looking like the Ultra Softs are not a good tyre. They don't seem to have good pace, and they're wearing out way too quickly compared to the Super Softs. Super Softs have always been a good tyre this season, so yeah, there's that for you. Ocampo coming in the pits, well, leaving the pits now, he's moved on to a set of soft tyres, which he'll be trying to get to the end of this race. Of course, a one stop is a doable strategy, as UK will get a 5-second penalty for causing collision. He was with Davy Serkiera there, so obviously that's going to be bad for his race and possibly the championship as well. Because that 5-second penalty is going to cost him a lot of time in the pit stop phases of this race. And this could obviously give some pressure off of Serkiera. Bogdasarov UK will send it in a turn 1. Track limits warning, but he's got the move done. And Serkiera can't do anything about that. He is just slower on the exit. As in the pit lane comes to Benedetto, okay. He's going to be the top person who would have pit, so he's definitely an eye to look out on. Finucci obviously has stayed out on his very worn tyres, as he looks to try and maintain his position ahead of Benedetto, but I doubt that with Benedetto's fresher tyres. And now I are closing in on Ultra Bro. He'll be looking for a move anytime soon. Van Horn once more taking a fastest lap this season. He's been really good at that. And there goes sending it on the inside of the chicane. That is A.G.E. But the exit speed was awful. The grip was also awful. And as a result, Ultra will stay ahead of A.G.E. So yep, that is successfully his place defended. Spike CV fastest in that first sector, only by 7 milliseconds. Now he is on the Super Soft, which is pretty good. However, the fast lap was also set on the Super Soft. Davy Serkiera staying out, as most of the other competitors around him came in the pits, more notably Daniel Bogdasarov, but he's been held up. He has been held up there massively. That's going to be a lot of time possibly lost there. So yeah, that's great news for Davy Serkiera, who now knows he can still come out this race, will come out the pits in front of Daniel Bogdasarov. Of course, that's just unfortunate timing in the pit lane there. Ocampo, fastest lap of this race in the Red Bull car, down in 19th place. Still showing that he is quick though, as UK1 moves ahead of Chaos and Delay in the Vodafone Audi. But he's got a good run on the Britain in towards Sector 2, and it looks like he might set on the inside. He does, trying to push UK1 off into his own error. But Andale, despite the mind games, it does not work. And for Andale, that's no position gain for him. He's still in P12. As coming into the pits is Davy Serkiera. Thus Theo staying out in the Red Bull. So that's an interesting strategy call there. Blade Sonic gets a 5-second penalty for causing collision. He was fighting with, I think that might be Bogdasarov or Eduardo there. Eduardo boxing and Bogdasarov closing in onto Benedetto, who is ahead. So yeah, that not only does that cost place to Benedetto, that, well, obviously not cost place Serkiera. Finucci and Serkiera are both out of the race there. Look at that tyre right in the air. That must have been a massive impact. They both crashed into each other on the pit exit. But for Serkiera, he didn't move far, but Finucci went all the way to the very end of turn 1 at the barriers. Big crash there, and that is the end of Serkiera's and Finucci's race. As a virtual safety car comes to the end, Taco Van Horn getting a very cheap stop there under the VSC, as his damage in this race has been minimised as much as it could have. Versio, you probably wish that happened towards the end of his lap, because he is due to come into the pit lane. Now Bogdasarov closing in on Raka Crumpley, who is back into the apex seat, and down the inside to Benedetto goes. He moves up into third, which is the net race lead. And here it is McLaren. He's going to have to go around the outside at the final corner. Bogdasarov trying to put his car in there. Crumpley has stayed out, and that has allowed Bogdasarov to get ahead of Benedetto once more. And in towards the first corner, Benedetto trying to go for the move, but he can't. There's just not enough speed on the outside line. But this time Bogdasarov is stuck behind Crumpley. Benedetto sends it on the inside, and he's going to try and get ahead of the Apex GP who is still leading this race, putting up some incredible defense to help out Matthew Hart, who has now been invited right into this fight for the race win. He is in P4, as you can see, as Boxarov Verdell still fighting. He's going to send it on the inside. Boxarov is going to lose that place again. It is a ding-dong battle between these two. Verdell and Boxarov just can't decide in which order they'll be. I feel like Boxarov is not going to keep this position. Verdell does move up once more. No, I'm not going to bother commentating the position swaps because you can see what's happening there. UKML now into this fight actually, as he goes on the inside ahead of two drivers at once. Boxarov has been held up massively, and that is going to be very detrimental to his chances of winning this race. And through goes Cornwell, up in a 4th position. 2 places made up on the straight right there, as Blake Jaroslavich goes up at the 5th. Boxarov, in a matter of 1 lap, was went from 2nd all the way down to 6th position, as Marcus Adelaide set the fastest lap of this race. In McLaren, I see some grass being kicked up there, as Livery enters the pit lane for ultra soft tyres. And Matthew Hart has now got the lead of this race. Apex GP's plan has completely worked out. Matthew Hart leading the way now on fresher tyres. Lando Verdell of UK Ball is going to get up there in 2nd place. He is now going to be the big threat for Matthew Hart. Same age of tyres, but there's an extra risk stat on there for UK Ball, so he's going to be quicker throughout these corners, and for Hart he's going to be slower, so it's going to have to be a case of defense here for the Apex GP car. And looking in the mid-pack, there is Versio trying to get up into 12th place. I was about to say 6th for some reason. Revo there in 12th, defending his place, as Versio can't move ahead. Into the pit lane there comes 3 drivers, BDS, Andalay and Ahmed Silla, as well as that Ferrari too. Revo looking to send it, and he goes for the move on Ultra Bro. And there we go, that is the place gained for him. Ultra Bro with a better grip on the exit though, and better tyres, is going to hold position. So hopefully guys for him are no longer a threat. Eduardo's tyres are pretty much gone. He's going to have to come into pits to get them changed. There's no way he's staying out on the track for much longer. Versio in 9th place, as Adelaide is right behind, but he's going to send it on the inside. He decided to play the dive a little bit carefully. In the end, he did not gain any places. Eduardo moving up there into 7th. He's ahead of Revo. Ultra just watching this battle go on behind him. But in the top 4, they're all separated by 1.2 seconds. And as we head down the stop in the straight, UK Ball edges closer and closer, but he's never close enough to make a move. Cornwell coming into the pit lane, he should get the undercut done here. However, will he be going on a set of tyres that can make it to the end? If it is a soft, then it could be. But no, it's ultras. So Cornwell's going to be at least going for 1 more stop at minimum. That's also ideally, because you don't want to be hitting more than twice from now. So yeah, Yago now going to try and catch Revo. He's got 1 lap fresher tyres, so his softs are going to be a lot better. And he tries to go around the outside, looking for that gap he can get that move done. And he will go for the move there into the chicane. That's a popular overtaking attempt area, shall I say, is UK Ball finally getting some room to go for a move on Matthew Hart, who defends the place. But around the final corner, on the inside line, UK Ball will take the lead of this race on to lap 12. As we enter the final 6 laps of today's race, Matthew Hart needs to try and go for the move, and he will, sending it on the inside. First warning for track limits, as he's trying to get that place back, but it's just not working out. The hyperdrive move up in 1st place. Matthew Hart down in 2nd place now, as the red arrow is just going to fall away now. Tyres down 42%. And there we go, once more Matthew Hart going for an overtaking attempt. Blake Jaroslavich, fastest lap of today's race. His ultra softs are doing alright. They're going to start to get the visible wear in soon. But he has lost so many places on the strategy today. Not been a good strategy. Typically going along is the strategy that you should be going for in these races. Yeah, as you can see now, don't know what to do so far. Livery and Scylla fighting for 14th place. Scylla has an attempt to get it. He can make an attempt to get up ahead of his teammate. He'll be trying that very soon. Foreseeable, it's a good team. They've got a good car. So, and they're not really making use of it that well. So that's unfortunate. Scylla has once more been overtaken and out of the race. There goes a Rocket Crumply. The home favourite is out of this race. I don't know where else he retired, but nonetheless, he is out. And for those who've just pit, that is essentially a free pit stop. And out of the pit lane comes Versio, and he's ahead of Ahmed Silla. So there we go, free pit stop done for Infinity Red Bull right there. And that is going to give them a huge advantage in this race, actually. Now, them super soft tyres should possibly get to the end of this race. Matthew Hart right behind UK Ball, still not giving up. UK Ball may be quicker, but Matthew Hart has got slipstream pretty much all lap long. That is boosting him and is keeping him in this fight for the race lead. Now, when they pit is also going to be an important thing, because strategy, they've still got another pit stop to do in this race. They've got to do 2 stops. There's just no way the tyres will make a 1 stop. Matthew Hart and UK are both staying out. Dr. Sarr copying that. Ultimo also staying out, as well as Max Adley by the looks of things. Ferrari just picked up a penalty as he's down in 13th, dropping to 14th as Iago moves ahead. But just like right behind, he should be ahead after the pit stops, no matter what really. Ferrari's penalty 5 seconds. That is massive, and Wedge like he's going to go for the move here into the first corner. Sorry, that's nowhere near the final corner. As he moves up into 11th place, only 1 place now off of the top 10 positions, which start to give you some serious points. Versio on the inside, he moves up there into 8th position. Thierry Headley has been overtaken. The Vodafone Audi will drop. And once more, the top 2 battle, it gets even hotter. Matthew Hart is going to go for a move here into the final set of corners. He's up there at first place, but he's having to use the outside line. That's not the ideal line at all. Lap 14 we're on now. As on the inside, Matthew Hart comes into pits. UK Ball does as well. They are side by side into the pit lane. UK Ball's forced to completely stop. And that's a huge advantage there for Apex GP. As UK Ball backed out, instead of just committing, he moves on to the super soft tyre to end this race. Matthew Hart is coming in. He's coming in for a fresh set of the ultra soft. Reverse Theo in the Red Bull is in 3rd place and is currently in a net 2nd, as the Benedetto has the lead and the net race lead. He could be on though for a first win in the McLaren team. Adelaide is not going to hold his position for long, but he'll try and fight for as long as possible. Because, of course, McLaren want to guarantee as many points as possible. So there we go, Versio up in a 2nd place. He has not won a race before, so he's going to have to try his hardest to do this. He has got 2.9 seconds to try and make up on the Benedetto before the end of this race. His tyre is already wearing out. That is where Versio has the advantage. He has got fresher tyres that are less worn, they've got more grip. And so for this is where the Benedetto should be worried. Because if the grip gets too low, he may start sliding around, and that's going to lose him heaps of time. 2 laps to go in this race. I don't think we expected the McLaren victory today, especially after their god-awful performance this season. As UK Ball, who's ahead of Blade Sonic, who just doesn't fight. His tyres are gone, actually. Is this another strategy blunder? Down a hyperdrive. 2% on his tyres. Yeah, that's going to be a puncture for Blade Sonic. The Ultra Softs just don't last that long. 1% of his tyres are gone. You'll see the puncture happen at any time. There it is, it's already happened. The puncture has happened for the hyperdrive. And in similar fashion to UK Ball, this is massive points that he's losing out in a World Championship. As now drivers passing by, that is Ravo now up at the 12th. as Andale moves through. Same thing for Chris Cornwell. But for Blade Sonic and for Hyperdrive, it's been a disastrous day. Not the day that I would have expected. Now, Devendao is not losing much time at all, actually. It looks like he's gained this lap, in fact. So, for Devendao, he said he could step up and be the team leader at McLaren. This race is well and truly showing that he is the team leader at this team. He's took control. He has surprised us, actually, on the race strategy. And he's going to be looking to get his first win with the McLaren team after joining last season. It has been a hard-fought couple of years for Dominic Di Benedetto, but he has now got one last sector, and he'll finally claim another Grand Prix victory. It's been the first one, it'll be the first one in a few years now, but round the final corner for the final time in this race, and at the end of 17 laps, Di Benedetto will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. He's the 7th different winner this season. As in, oh my god, out of the race there goes Carlos Eduardo, spinning round in his engine up in flames as well, as contact there was made with Ahmed Silla. Unsurprisingly, a virtual safety car has been called out. Adelaide somehow made 11 laps on the super soft tyres. That is bloody impressive, if you ask me. Balthasar will cross line for 9, disappointing considering he was leading earlier on in the race. Rayo's P10 will be spoiled as he had a 5-second penalty to his name. Ocabo will cross line for 12th position, and Cornwell will also be promoted up some places. So yeah, that's Rayo dropping from 10th down to 13th as the other drivers crossing line. Ahmed Silla somehow surviving the wreck from earlier. And Blade Sonic actually ended up pinning onto a brand new set of tyres after the puncture. You know what, that's actually something I've not really seen before. But anyways, around the final corner comes Blade Dragon Sonic in dead last in the race. So right now, finally winning for the first time in the McLaren team. 7 different winners this season. It's looking like an incredibly good season. Good day for the Red Bull squad mostly, as Verstio and Iago stand on the podium together in 2nd and 3rd respectively. And I'm sure McLaren will be happy. They finally got rid of some of their bad luck. They've got an incredible result today. A 1-4, if I remember correctly, for the timing screens. So yeah, that's definitely a cause for celebration for the McLaren team. Divide out your race winner today, so let's listen to it, the American national anthem. Out your winner for the first time in his new team versus the Iago stand on the podium together. Red Bull will be happy about that, and same for Toro Rosso. Matthew Hart finishes in 4th place for Mark Sanders, who's 5th, not 4th, my bad. The K-Ball finishing in 5th position from Livery and Ultimo. Dan Mokhtar in 9th and Kels Adley rounding off the top 10. After that, Sebastian Cabo was in 11th for Chris Cornwell and Rainbow, who dropped from 10th due to the price, apparently gained on the last lap as well. So you have them making an excellent recovery in this race up in the 14th place as Spike TV finished 15th from Team at Lampong. After that, Rafael Ferrari, disastrous day for him as his Ford contract at massive risk now after that race. Van Horn finishes in 18th place from Ahmed Silla and Blade Dragon Sonic, who ends everyone off with Eduardo, Cripply, Minucci and Sergio retiring from the race. And after that, we're done with the Hungarian Grand Prix. 10 races complete, 6 to go. We'll see you in the final sprint when the APX F1 series returns. And also, don't beat sprint race, that's a speed race.